As a student studying in a Christian school, you should strive to use information and research materials ethically. To use them ethically, you need to know about three concepts: attribution, copyright, and fair use. Attribution is giving proper credit to the author or creator of a work. In your research and writing, you should strive to give proper credit through providing the citations to the materials you use. Failure to give proper attribution is plagiarism, a form of intellectual theft that violates the Southern Seminary Student Handbook's conscience and conduct policy. When you fail to attribute, you are, in essence, passing off someone else's work as your own. So when should you cite? The most clear-cut reason to cite a resource is using a direct quote. When using a direct quote, make sure that you place it in either quotation marks or in a block quote. Immediately after the quote, include a footnote with information about the resource, such as the author's name, the book or journal's title, the article's title, the publisher's name and location, the publication date, the URL, and the page number on which the quote occurs. All citations should be formatted according to the Southern Seminary's Manual of Style. You can find the Manual of Style online at sbts.libguides.com/style. You should also cite when you're using someone else's idea, but not their words. For instance, if you're paraphrasing C.S. Lewis's idea from The Problem of Pain on how divine goodness reveals to the problem of evil, you should add a footnote and cite the work even though you aren't using Lewis's exact words. You don't need to provide a citation for every piece of information or idea in your research. If an idea is your own and original with you, you don't need a citation. Also, if you're providing information that is common knowledge, you don't need a citation. For example, it's common knowledge that Charles Haddon Spurgeon was a Baptist preacher. You don't need to cite a resource to state that fact in a paper. It is probably not common knowledge that Charles Haddon Spurgeon suffered from Bright's disease. You should cite your source for that information. In short, if it's a quote, cite it. If it's not your idea, cite it. If you're in doubt, cite it. It's better to have too many citations than to inadvertently fail to give credit where it is due. If you have used a photocopier or scanner in a library, you have probably seen a copyright notice posted nearby. You may have wondered, what exactly is copyright and why is that notice posted here? Put simply, copyright is a protection for authors or creators that covers the intellectual property in creative works such as books, journals, articles, magazines, web pages, blog posts, music, plays, and movies. In the United States, the Constitution grants Congress the power to make laws that give authors and inventors the exclusive right to their respective writings and discoveries, in order to incentivize creation of new works. Laws regarding copyright in the U.S. can be found in Title 17 of the U.S. Code. For a limited amount of time, authors and copyright holders have the exclusive rights to reproduce their copyrighted work, to prepare derivative works based upon their work, to distribute copies of their work to the public by sale or other transfer of ownership, or by rental, lease, or lending, to perform the copyrighted artistic work publicly, to display the copyrighted artistic work publicly, to perform the copyrighted audio work publicly by means of a digital audio transmission. Since these rights are exclusive, they only belong to the copyright holder. So, if only the copyright holder has the right to reproduce a copyrighted work, how can anyone legally make copies? Perhaps you've heard someone say that it's okay to copy an article or a book chapter because it's fair use. Fair use is a limitation of exclusive rights for authors that Congress built into the U.S. Copyright Code. The fair use exceptions grant limited use of copyrighted works for the purpose of criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, or research. There are 4 factors you should consider to determine if your use of materials is fair use: the purpose and character of the use, the nature of the copyrighted work, the amount of the work used and whether or not it represents the heart of the work, the effect of your use upon the potential market for the work. These factors don't provide a hard and fast rule for determining fair use, but they help in guiding us to make a good faith effort to comply with the law. The exceptions tend to favor nonprofit educational use over commercial use, the use of factual works over heavily artistic works, the use of smaller portions over larger portions, and the use of works with no market potential over those with a market potential. A commonly referenced rule of thumb for making personal copies or scans for coursework is to use no more than a single journal article or a book chapter or 5 to 10% of an entire work. This rule of thumb doesn't necessarily guarantee that your use is fair use, but it does go a long way towards demonstrating that you've made a good faith effort to comply with the copyright code. For more detailed information regarding copyright and fair use, please see our LibGuides at sbts.libguides.com/copyright.